Peter Magana Kenyatta, jina ambalo wengi hawalitambui katika Jamhuri ya Kenya wala halitajwi sana, so ikija ni katika majina ya wanawe mzee Jomo Kenyatta. Jina linalotambulikana sana kwa wanawe mzee Jomo Kenyatta ni jina lake rais mstaafu wa Jamhuri ya Kenya Uhuru Kenyatta. Ndugu yake alipata kuyachagua maisha fiche na mbali kabisa na nchi ya Kenya. Peter Magana Kenyatta akizaliwa mwezi Agosti mwaka 1949 nchini Uingereza. Peter Magana Kenyatta was born in the year 1994 on August 11th in England, akiwa ni mtoto wa kipekee wake mzee Jomo Kenyatta na mkewe wa pili kutokea kule nchini Uingereza, ambaye ana asilia ya kizungu vile, akitambulikana kama Edna Grace Clark. Baada ya vita vya pili vya dunia mwaka 1945, after the Second World War, mwaka mmoja baada ya kuzaliwa kwa Peter Magana Kenyatta, mzee Kenyatta alipata kuigura nchi ya Uingereza na kurejea nyumbani kwao Kenya, akimwacha Edna Clark na mwanawe mchanga Peter kule Uingereza bila kazi maalum ya kujikimu kimaisha. Na kama ilivyo ada na desturi ya wanasiasa, Kenyatta alimwahidi Edna Clark kwamba mapato yote yaliyotokana na mauzo ya kitabu chake Facing Mount Kenya yangeweza kutumika katika kumlea mwanawe. Pesa zote zingekwenda kwa jina lake Edna Clark, ndipo kumsomesha Peter Magana Kenyatta. Kenyatta alivuja hadi hii na Edna na mwanawe hawakupata chochote kutokea kwa Kenyatta, ingawa kulingana na chapisho tofauti Kenyatta aliishi kumwandikia barua Edna akiwa nchini Kenya. Amna wakati Kenyatta alitoa usaidizi kwa kumlea mwanawe. Hivyo kama wengi wanavyowatambua wanaume wa namna hii, Kenyatta was a deadbeat dad. Now let me try to explain this to you. After the Second World War, in the year 1995, Kenyatta made a comeback to Kenya, leaving Edna Clark, his second wife, in the United Kingdom, together with a only 1-year-old baby that was Peter Magana Kenyatta. Kenyatta left Edna and came back to Kenya. Then the atmosphere of the Kenyan politics was high. There was a revolt that was uprising, called the Mau Mau Revolution. Kenyatta had heard about it and he wanted to come back to Kenya so that he can take control of the leadership of the Mau Mau and also kick out the colonial regime out of the Republic of Kenya. But while he was leaving the United Kingdom, he promised his then wife Edna Clark that because he had then written a book called Facing Mount Kenya, that the sales of the book would be directed to the raising of his son with Edna, that is Peter Magana Kenyatta, which is a promise that Kenyatta broke, because the money the process of the sales of the book did not go to Edna Clark. They were directed to Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. So, which means Kenyatta, in the first years of the life of his son Peter Magana Kenyatta, he was a deadbeat dad to this kid. Now, baada ya kurejea nchini Kenya, Kenyatta alimuoza mkewe wa tatu, Grace Wanjiko, binti yake Senior Chief Koinange, dadake Mbiyu Koinange. Hii ni baada ya Edna kugundua kwamba Kenyatta alikuwa kakwepa majukumu yake kama mzazi. Edna alipata kujitosa katika kazi, ndipo kumlea mwanawe vema na pia kumpa elimu aliyoipenda. Edna alijinyakulia kazi ya ualimu, ambapo aliweza kupata kipato chake cha kujikimu na kumwelimisha Peter Magana. Now, listen. When Mzee Jomo Kenyatta came into the country in the year 1995, because now he was an influential figure. Back in those days, going to the United Kingdom, coming back, because Kenyatta had stayed in the United Kingdom as we are told, since the year 1929, he had been in the United Kingdom. So when he came back to the country, the senior chief Koinange realized how this guy, how influential he was and what he meant for the country. So he gave him his daughter, Grace Wanjiku, the third wife to Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, who died while she was delivering a firstborn child. Now, the move that Kenyatta made of marrying senior chief Koinange's daughter was a political move, was an arranged marriage, because he knew the influence that senior chief Koinange had in the Kenyan politics and within the colonial government back then. So he wanted to have an influence in the said Mount Kenya region with his affiliation to senior chief Koinange, because now he was an in-law to the Koinange family. Going forward, Kenyatta forgot everything about Edna Clark, though he was writing letters to her. When Edna Clark realized that there is no process that will come out of this man, or Kenyatta was not ready to help her raise their son, she proceeded to seek a job. And that is when she got employed as a teacher in the United Kingdom and decided to educate a son, Peter Magana Kenyatta, and give him the life that he deserved. Now, nikirejea katika lugha ya Kiswahili, akilelewa na mamake Peter Magana akuwa na maisha magumu, maana Edna alimpa elimu aliyostahili. Inaaminika hata ingawa Kenyatta alimwandikia barua Edna akitaka kuwasiliana na mwanawe Peter Magana, amna rekodi yoyote inayothibitisha kwamba Edna alimkubali Peter kumwandikia babake barua, mpaka wakati Kenyatta alikuja kutajwa kama rais wa Kenya, na pale ndipo mambo yalipopata kubadilika. Miaka 19 kutokea alipowaaga Edna na Peter kule nchini Uingereza, Kenyatta alirejea jijini London Oktoba mwaka 1963 kuhudhuria mkutano wa Kenya Constitutional Conference KCC. Alijaribu Kenyatta kupatana na Edna na mwanawe Peter, ila sababu wao walikuwa tayari wamegura mitaa aliyokuwa kawaacha, Kenyatta hakufanikiwa kukutana na wao. Ila mwaka mmoja baadaye, Magana pamoja na mama yake Edna walitembea nchini Kenya, ambapo Rais Kenyatta alimlaki mwanawe kwa sherehe kubwa katika uwanja wa ndege wa Jomo Kenyatta na kumpa kikao katika ikulu ya urais jijini Nairobi. Magana na mamake walirejea Uingereza mpaka miaka 5 baadaye alipopata mwaliko wa babake kuja kutembea nchini, na mwaka 1971 Peter Magana pamoja na mkewe na binti zake wawili walirejea nchini Kenya. Wakati huu Kenyatta akiwa na mpango wa kumpa Magana kazi katika serikali yake kama waziri, ila Magana kwa sababu zisizotambulikana wadhifa aliyomwandalia babake kama waziri aliukataa. Magana pamoja na familia yake walitulia nchini Kenya kwa muda mpaka kupata kuhamia kuishi katika kijiji cha babake kule Ishaweri, eneo bunge la Gatundu mwaka 1973. Now listen to this. Peter Magana, when Kenyatta became president in the year 1963, he returned back to London, United Kingdom, in England. And there he was attending an official conference. When he was there on the tour, he tried to look for his ex-wife, that was Edna Clark, and also to get in touch with his son, Peter Magana. But where he had left them in 1945 is not where they were then. In 1963, they had moved. So they found out that he could not get in touch with them. So his effort to get in touch with his ex-wife Edna Clark together with the son Peter Magana bore no fruits, which led Kenyatta to coming back to Kenya. But now, a year later, in 1964, exactly when the country got its full independence, that is when Edna Clark, together with her son Peter Magana Kenyatta, came visiting the country. Then Peter was a big boy. He was a teenage then. Yeah, remember he was born in 1944, and this is 1964, which means he was 20 years old. That is when he came visiting for the first time and to meet his father publicly. So they met, and Kenyatta hosted them at the State House, Nairobi. After hosting them, they returned back to the United Kingdom. After returning back to the United Kingdom, 5 years later, in the year 1971, when this guy, Peter, not in the year, not 5 years later, it was, I think, a few years later, 6 or 7, that is when, in 1971, that is when Peter came back to the country. 1971 from 1964 or 1965, that is about 6 years. So then Peter was about 29 or so. That is when Mzee Jomo Kenyatta wrote to them. He invited his second born son, Peter Magana Kenyatta, a son born of him and his Mzungu wife, Edna Clark, to come back to the country. Now, then he had seen that his son was a grown-up man now, at the age of 29, heading to 30. Now, he had prepared a position in his government under the Kano regime. He was to give his son a position as a cabinet secretary in his government. But when Peter arrived in Kenya in the year 1971 together with his two daughters, because then Peter was already married, he turned down the offer that Mzee Jomo Kenyatta had prepared for him, and because Kenyatta prepared and he wanted Peter Magana Kenyatta to become his inheritor when it comes to the politics. But Peter rejected the offer. He turned down his father's offer. Then Peter had started working as a journalist, as a writer. Are you getting me? So Peter rejected the offer. But from 1971 to 1973, Peter, together with his daughter and the Kenyatta family, all of them resided in State House, Nairobi, until the year 1973. In the year 1973, that is when Peter Magana Kenyatta, together with his wife and his two daughters, moved to Mzee Kenyatta's original home, that is Ichaweri, Gatundu County. I mean Gatundu constituency. That is when. So which means Peter had found a home in Kenya. He had actually been absorbed as a Kenyatta. I know a lot of people, when we speak about the Kenyatta family, our reference is always at Mzee Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. But in real sense, it is believed when Kenyatta was the president, he bought a lot of properties in the United Kingdom under his ex-wife Edna Clark and his son Peter Magana Kenyatta. So, although Mzee Jomo Kenyatta was a man that was known to have many wives, one thing that he never did was to neglect his blood. He never left them out. I never. That is something that is proved by this story. And, you know, not only did he never leave out his kid, he had the tendency of making sure that his children are financially stable and are well taken care of after becoming the president. You know, yes, before, when he was not the president, he was just a mere politician trying to make ends meet. But when real money started coming in and the power that he yielded as a president, he started making things right for his blood. Are we together until then? Now, baada ya kifo cha babake kifo cha Mzee Jomo Kenyatta mwaka 1978, Magana alirejea nchini Uingereza pamoja na familia yake, wakati ule akifanya kazi katika kituo cha wanahabari cha BBC News. Listen, this guy came to Kenya in the year 1971, Peter Magana Kenyatta. So which means he was a Kenyatta and he lived in Kenya for a period of 7 years, because he stayed in Kenya until the year 1978, when his father died, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. That is when Magana made the decision to leave Kenya. He was a BBC news correspondent in Kenya. He was a writer for the BBC News in Kenya. He stayed in Kenya from the year 1971 together with his family, his wife and 2 daughters, until the year 1978, which means Peter Magana Kenyatta shares a very, very concrete and intimate relationship with Mama Ngina Kenyatta's family. That is akina Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, akina Nyokabi Kenyatta, akina the last born son Mohoho Kenyatta, and the rest. Are you getting the point? So in 1978, that is when he returned back to the United Kingdom and went ahead to live with his mom, that is Edna Clark. Yet while he was in Kenya, Edna used to visit, and he used also to write most of the time to his mom. They had a very concrete relationship between Peter Magana Kenyatta and his mother, Edna Clark, in the United Kingdom. After returning back to the United Kingdom in the year 1978, in the year 1979, Peter again came back to Kenya together with his family. And this time, it was in celebration of 1 year anniversary since the death of his father in 1978. Now, fununu zinaaminika kwamba he did not only come back in the year 1979 to celebrate the life of his father after the passing, after 1 year anniversary. He also came back to the burial of his brother, his firstborn brother, the firstborn son to Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, who went by the name of Peter Muigai Kenyatta, who was the firstborn son to Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, and who was also a Juja member of parliament back in the time. So Magana came back to bury his brother. That is the year in the year 1979. Now, fununu zikidai mvutano juu ya urithi wa Mzee Kenyatta katika familia yake vilichangia pakubwa Peter Magana Kenyatta kujitenga na siasa za familia yake mpaka alipopata kuhudhuria uapisho wa nduguye mdogo Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta kama rais wa 4 wa Jamhuri ya Kenya mwaka 2013. From the year 1979, Peter left the country, and due to the politics within the Kenyatta family, where they had this scuffle that was unfolding, fighting over the inheritance of the Mzee Jomo Kenyatta family, which is believed to be one of the causes that might have caused the death of Peter Muigai Kenyatta, the firstborn son. Peter decided I wasn't cut out for this type of family politics. So he left the country and went back to the United Kingdom, where he had a job then as a producer at BBC. So he went to continue with his work and to raise his family in the United Kingdom. He stayed away from the Kenyatta family politics and everything that came with it until the year 2013. That is when, although he stayed away, he was in contact with his brothers and sisters. So in the year 2013, when Uhuru Kenyatta was elected as the President of the Republic of Kenya, it was a very joyous moment for Peter Magana Kenyatta to come back home to celebrate the birth of, the election of his brother, young brother Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, as the 4th President of the Republic of Kenya. So during the inauguration ceremony of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta in 2013, that is the last time that Peter Muigai Kenyatta, Peter Magana Kenyatta was seen in the country. Pia, apart from that, alihudhuria hafla ya ukumbusho wa babake mzazi on August 22nd, the year 2019, which means since the year 2013, 6 years later, in the year 2019, on the second term of President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, Peter Magana Kenyatta came visiting together with his family. But as Peter Magana together with his kids. He is believed to have three kids right now who are daughters. They are all daughters ambao inaaminika they always come visiting the Kenyatta family in Kenya several times. They also have a residence in Kenya. Peter Magana Kenyatta has a residence in Kenya. Yeah. The Kenyatta family is a they are trillionaires. So him having a residence to live in Kenya is not something that is a very big deal. No. But it's believed his daughters. Now, watoto wa Peter Magana Kenyatta na watoto Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, they hang out a lot. They are friends. And also with the kids of Mohoho Kenyatta, they hang out a lot. They are friends. And when I say friends, they are family friends. They go on vacations together. Yeah. So which tells you that though there was a difference when Peter Magana Kenyatta was born and that Kenyatta left him at 1 year old, when he came back in the country in the year 1964, from then he formed a concrete relationship with the family until date. Ndio maana most of the time nasikia Uhuru Kenyatta is in the United Kingdom. Uhuru Kenyatta is receiving treatment in another country. Uhuru Kenyatta is receiving treatment in UK. The Kenyatta family have residences in the United Kingdom. Unajiuliza, how do they have residences in the United Kingdom? Wanasema the Kenyatta family has an estate worth billions of money in the United Kingdom. Mnauliza, how do they get that? Remember, Kenyatta has a son who is a United Kingdom citizen by birth. Yes. So huyu kijana baba yake alimpa urithi, and after getting the share and also being given, Kenyatta used his family ambayo ilikuwa kule United Kingdom to make sure that they are stable there. Amenunua mali kule, and all has been put in the name of Peter Magana Kenyatta. Right now, mwaka the year 2024, from the year 1944 when Peter was born, ni miaka ngapi kwa sasa? By the year 2000, Peter Magana was 56. Plus 24 right now. He is 80 years old right now. That's it for now. Make sure you subscribe. I hope you get the story of Peter Magana Kenyatta, the second born son to MZEE JOMO Kenyatta.